Hello everyone, here is the English version of the video I will upload in Facebook, BB, Instagram, and other social media platforms in order to spread the information is essential to the user in library you need to understand. So what is the topic of today LIS and daily life? It is column of books. And if you find it in the internet, you will find the library classification, and there are many classifications. And in Hong Kong, there are 4 classifications are widely used in Hong Kong, different field of libraries. The latest classification used widely in academic libraries is Library of Congress classification. Before a adoption of this classification, the academic library used the Dewey Decimal classification and the new scheme for Chinese library and Chinese library classification for both collection that you can see in the applied table. You can see which collection use which classification. And for the region and countries, you can see the new classification scheme for Chinese library is widely used in Hong Kong, Macau, Taiwan, and the count of main categories, just 10 main categories, 00, 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900. And you can see the similarity of the Dewey Decimal classification and the new classification scheme for Chinese libraries. Using the digital classification, and to the similarity between the Library of Congress classification and Chinese library classification, you can see they are using the English alphabet to be the main categories, and one is 21 categories, which is Library of Congress classification, and 22 is for Chinese library classification. To have a clear comparison, I will compare Library of Congress classification and Chinese library classification because they're using the similar categories. So let's look at the Chinese library classification, which is mainly used in China. And for the first one, A categories is Marxism, Leninism, Maoism, and Deng Xiaoping theory, which is about the theory used in China mostly. So if you want to understand those theory, you can check the collection in A categories. And B is philosophy, religion, C is social science, D politics and law, E is military science, F economics, G cultural science, education and sports, H language and linguistics, I literature, J art, K history and geography, and you need to concern that L, M, W, Y, this 4 classification is not used in Chinese library classification. And then N is neutral science, O is mathematics, physics, and chemistry, P is astronomy and geoscience, Q is life science, R is medicine and health science, S is agriculture science, T is for industrial technology, U is for transportation, V is for aviation and aerospace, X is for environment science, and Z is for general works. To the Library of Congress classification, you need to concern I, O, W, X, Y. Those 5 classification is not used in the Library of Congress classification. And you need to concern that In Chinese library classification, Z is general words, but in Library of Congress classification, A is for general words. B are similar, but psychology, religion is added in this category. C, auxiliary science of history. D is for world history and history of those regions, Europe, Asia, Africa, Australia, New Zealand, etc. E is for history of America. F is for local history of Americas. And G is for geography, anthropology, recreation. H is for social science. J is for political science. K for law. L for education. M for music. M for fine arts. P for language and literature. Q for science. R for medicine. S for agriculture. T for technology. U for military science. V for legal science. And Z for bibliography, library science. If you are studying in university and you are using academic libraries, you need to familiar with Library of Congress classification because it is widely used in academic libraries in UGC-funded university in Hong Kong, such as Chinese University of Hong Kong, Baptist University of Hong Kong, something like that. And for the direct decimal classification and new classification scheme for Chinese library, it is widely used in public libraries in Hong Kong, and the direct decimal classification is widely used in the world because it is the easiest classification. It helps you to find the both efficiently. So, through the DDC, I have made a video about those two classifications, so I will not explain it in this video. But for today's video, you can understand the library classification, and if you are interested more about that, I will make more video about the essential knowledge about the user perspective if you want to access it in the digital libraries, or because it is a column but you need to familiar with it, and then you can find the book resource more efficiently.